Hello and welcome to another episode of Truly Bedrock with me, Mr. Beardstone. I'm actually standing on the tree at our main base area that we first stood on when we looked upon this area, and do you remember when we got distracted by that rock? And it kind of got me thinking. We've been on the server for about 5-6 weeks now, and it honestly feels like we've been here forever. We've accomplished so much. We destroyed a village. Oh my god, there goes my wall. We've started building some of the village back up with completely pointless buildings. We've built ourselves a storage warehouse, a furnace array, the sugarcane cave, which I still haven't finished, and of course our quad slime farm. And that's just in the last few weeks around this area. We've also built up our western town a little bit with Killer, and we've put up a few shops in the shopping district. We've been very busy. And that was just up until the end of last episode. Between episodes, we've added an extra layer to the slime farm, we've finished our nether tunnel, well, for now at least, we still need to connect it up to the main tunnel at the end here. Made a profit in the shopping district of 21 shiny blue rocks. And then we also did a bit of digging and made a plan for future expansion into the nether, which involves these guys and this place. So what are we going to do next? What's on the cards for today? I have absolutely no idea. It's quite amazing what 8.1 seconds of banjo can do for someone's creativity, and I now have a plan. So my thinking is, as we've done quite a lot of work around the village here, and we've also done a fair amount of work in the nether on the nether tunnel, what we haven't done is connect the two up. So I'm thinking it's probably time for some terraforming. So my plan is to connect up roughly around here somewhere. We're going to take that all the way around, we're going to put some custom trees in. It's going to be a little bit wild, a bit of a country path, but not too major. And I do actually want to build up this coastline here as well. So I want to actually raise the ground by a few blocks, maybe 4, 5, 6, I don't know, I'll see how I get on. And what I'm thinking is to put in a cliff on this side. So the path is going to raise up, we'll have a bit of a cliff going down the side there, and that means we can put a rope bridge across to what will be a rocky outcrop over here, as opposed to the sort of grassy little island sandbank we've got going on at the moment. So yeah, that's my basic plan. As usual, I don't really know how it's going to turn out. We're going to sort of make it up as we go along. So yeah, I don't know. I guess the first thing to do will be to proper scout out the area and decide on what resources I'm going to need before I crash into a cliff in third-person view. And yeah, I think I just need to get some ideas together of what I want to make the path out of and what I'm going to do in regards to the landscape. And once I've got a couple of bits marked out, I will bring you guys back here and we'll see how we get on. I'm fully aware that this just looks like a giant mess. And that is normal for this stage in a project. But what I've been doing is just trying to visualise kind of the shape of the land, where I want the land to go, where I want the different contours to be, and so on. And I've just been spamming stone down basically, so some bits are a bit more filled out, and you can kind of see the rough contours that I want for this area. So it'll be less steep here, it'll be more steep on the backside where it goes right down to the ocean, and it's just going to gradually raise up in a few levels until you end up with this kind of plateau at the top here. From up here it looks like a bit of a strange shape as well, so I'm probably going to do some changes to this side here mainly when I actually get to building the cliffs and so on. I think I kind of want these bits overhanging what's down here, so they actually sort of come out a bit further and curve in. But we're going to play around with that as we expand on this area. So last episode we actually did things a little bit differently, and instead of just time-lapsing everything, I did actually talk you through a bit of my build process as well as we were doing certain things. And people seemed to like it. It seemed to go down really well, and to be honest with you, it didn't take that much longer than doing the time lapses, and I think in certain situations it might be nice to do those every now and then. And I think this is one of those times, because I haven't really done any terraforming yet on the Truly Bedrock server, nothing large anyway. And with that, I think it may well be time for me to actually talk through a bit of my terraforming process. So, well, I guess it's time for building with Beardstone. So the first thing we're going to need to do, I'll say the first thing, we've already kind of done the first thing, haven't we? We've kind of half plotted out where we want to be building stuff. But the next thing I will always do at this stage is to grab lots and lots of stone. And conveniently, we dug out some chunks, as I keep mentioning, because it did take forever, despite how I made that look in the video. And the first thing that you do really is just block it all out. So where these different contours are, I need to actually turn them into solid areas. so that I can see the shape of where things are, and I need to be bearing in mind I am going to be covering all of this with grass afterwards as well. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of one of those times where I'm like, do I time lapse? Do I keep talking about stuff? But I'm literally just going to be filling all this in with stone. And fill it all in with stone I have. So you can see it's starting to take shape now. It's obviously still looking very square in certain places, and I've got rid of the bit that was sticking out on that side because I couldn't get it to look right. It was just too odd. So yeah, I've just blocked it all in, and I have of course lit up the underneath with torches as well because we don't want to be creating a mob farm. And the cliff around here obviously needs lots and lots of work. The shape is not right at all. It's very square in very many places. But my next step is now to grab the grass and dirt and actually shape the top half of the land properly, because we need to get rid of all these square edges. We need to actually sort of fill in this hole here as well, and we need to make sure that the whole landscape actually flows as it should. So that's going to be the next thing I do, and that's pretty much just going to be a case of spamming grass down. I'm going to fill in this hole first though, because I don't want this hole here at all. And now we have a lot of grass and dirt added on top, which kind of shows us the contours a little bit more, and when we stand back, we'll go stand over there in a moment, we'll be able to see the shape of all the land around here, and we can spot the areas where there's maybe too many straight edges, like here for example, and then just sort of come back in and mix up the landscape a little bit more with a few extra grass and dirt blocks until we get it looking how we want. So from further away, it doesn't actually look too bad. This bit here is still a little bit straight, so I think a good solution for that would probably be to actually sort of pull this round this way a little bit more so that it connects up at a bit more of an angle with the coast. So if we just put a few more blocks down, I think I've still got some, there we go. So we're just going to raise up this bit at the back here a little bit more as well. And then when we go back over the top and look at it again, hopefully that's going to have a bit more of a natural curve on it. And we're just going to go around and we're going to look at all the different areas where we've added all the contours and shapes so far, and just see if there's anywhere else like that that we need to break up and make it look more natural. So let's have a look and see how that one worked. There we go, so already it's got rid of those straight edges and it's already looking better. Obviously it's a bit janky here, so we need to sort those out. One thing I tend to avoid is single blocks like this sticking out because they never seem to look right. So I'll always get rid of those and try and keep them in at least 2s. Generally 3s though I find tends to look a bit better. Unless you're actually, going at an angle, in which case 1s are fine, and now I'm in the water again. So from this side as well, once again it's looking quite good. Obviously the cliff is very, very bland and boring, but there is a reason for that which we'll get to in just a moment. And also on this side, I'm going to be putting in a bit of an overhang, and I haven't quite got the resources I want to do that yet. I'm going to wait until I'm doing the texturing and things around there to see how I'm going to tie that together. But overall, I think that shape is actually starting to look quite good now, and I think I'm probably in a position where I can figure out roughly where I want my path to go, and then figure out how I'm going to connect it up to this island here with a bridge. The main problem being, of course, the height difference. This island over here, though, I'm going to be using a bit of stone. There's obviously going to be some stone. Oh, I look like Steve. That's unfortunate. Oh, I'm blinking as well. Oh, this is so weird. Yeah, there we are. We are back in our own skin, much better. So what I was trying to say is I need a different resource to build up a lot of this island, and it's a resource that we kind of have access to, but I don't want to go tearing down entire biomes. So what I'm going to do is just jump through here quickly, and I'll explain my plan. So actually, just quickly, before I get to explaining my plan, we have made a few changes here, which you did see briefly at the start, but we've swapped out the black carpet. We've actually just gone with glass. Because we've got the clear glass texture pack on, it doesn't really matter too much, and we can see the basalt floor that we originally wanted underneath, which is looking much better. And we've also got in all the different sort of tunnel variations. So these are the 3 variations we've got. We've got one with lava, we've got one with iron bars, and we've got one with the slabs. And other than that, it's all pretty much the same on the way down. It just sort of has a bit of a weird repeating pattern, apart from this area here, which is our Basalt Cave, and has fire under the lava, and I really love this part. I think that looks really cool, and just sort of, changes up the tunnel a bit as you go down it. Gives a point of interest. I then carry on with those segments all the way down to here, and I haven't figured out how we're going to be connecting it up to the main tunnel, which is coming along really well. We've got the Soul Speed highways in, and yeah, it's looking epic, and oh dear, what is going on over here? Looks like Liara may have busted through into a lava lake. Yep, Yeah, that would appear to be the case. I'm just going to slowly back away. We'll leave it to it. Oh, actually, we're going to fastly back away. Soul sand. Right, enough distractions. So what we're in here for is actually more of this. We want some basalt, and the idea is we're going to make a bit of a sort of mini giant's causeway over on that overworld side of the portal, and just have a few bits of the portal coming through. Obviously, it's rude not to. But yeah, I really want to make use of basalt, but for that, we need a basalt generator. And I'm thinking one of these sort of tunnel sections here could actually work really well for that. So we're going to take a slight detour from building with Beardstone, so we can stop that music now. There we go, and we'll put on some, you know, more normal music. There we go, beautiful. And we are going to crack on, and yeah, we're going to figure out how to put a basalt generator in here. But I think I should be able to do it, so we can just stand here and chop away, and we'll still have a bit of lava visible, and yeah, hopefully that's going to work. So I'm going to go get some resources together. I've gone and grabbed myself all of the resources that I think I'm going to need for this, and I've dug out an area where I plan on putting it. So it should be fairly straightforward. I'm basically just copying what Prowl has done, which I will link to in the description. And it's a very straightforward build. So in theory, if I just sort of grab all of these things, I should just be able to do it in one quick little take here. And there we go, it's as simple as that. So whenever we need basalt now, we can just come here, we can harvest away at this. I've only got an efficiency 4 pick at the moment, but if I had an efficiency 5, we would be basically insta-mining this, and this all just instantly gets dumped into this chest down here, and as you can see, it is very effective. So we've already got ourselves a stack and a bit there in about 10 seconds. So yeah, we're definitely going to make good use of this. I guess I just need to collect some basalt now. This thing is a beast. I've gone through my pickaxe twice and I've healed it up, and I've got about 3.5 shulkers worth of basalt there, and that should be enough to do what I want to do. It's probably too much, to be honest with you, but I've realised that this is actually easier to mine than stone. So it's, you know, it's going to have all sorts of uses, no doubt. And I did also, on the opposite side, decide to put in one of the XP furnaces for healing my pickaxe, seeing as Unbreaking 3 still doesn't work, and that will basically just mean I can go between here and get all the basalt I need for all eternity. Marvellous. So I'm going to go take these back up top, and I'm going to start laying out my plans for the other island, if, you know, you haven't figured it out already, which I'm sure you probably have. I mean, it was probably in the thumbnail as well, let's be honest. So the first thing I actually need to do over here is to remove the portal, because I'm going to be raising up this island, which means I'm going to be raising up the portal. So let's do this, and my pickaxe is about to break, but I'm sure I'll be fine just taking this bit down first. I've just set up a temporary portal over on that side for now, so that I can still actually get to and from the Nether without having to fly all the way over to Foxy's like I did the first time before I realised I could just put in a temporary portal. And yeah, I went and got myself some blackstone as well, and I've got a bit of stone, and I'm just going to sort of show you roughly what it is I'm going to be doing around here, and then I'll probably go into a normal sort of time lapse and just show you where we're at. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to pan out. I've kind of got a rough idea of how I want it to look, and hopefully I'll be able to pull it off. So I'm going to use a lot of these for a start. Not that way around. Okay, bad start, Beardstone. Come on now. Let's get rid of that. So what I'm thinking is we're going to have some of these sort of basalt delta style, you know, columns that are coming up here, and we're going to have them coming out of the ocean. The idea would then be that I'd also get some of these on the cliffs over on that side, so that there's a bit sort of tying it together, and then we'll have the big bridge that goes across and so on. But that does of course mean I also need to raise this side up to be, you know, a similar sort of height to that one. So a bit further inland, I'm going to be making a sort of larger sort of stone structure, I should say. So it's going to be, you know, around about this tall. Ignore the squareness of it for now. We will of course fix that. But if I can get this to, how high are we? About that high, and then grass on top. So we're not going to want grass on top, are we? So let's go another block up, and I think it'll be about that height there, so let's get a little bit more of this in. Okay, so something a bit more like that, and then as I say, we're going to have these sort of basalt blocks all the way along the front here at varying heights, and we're going to have some of them on the stone as well, just because then we're not using quite as many of the basalt blocks, and we'll just do more and more of this. We're going to mix in a bit of black stone here and there as well, because I think that's going to add to the effect we've got over here, so there's not going to be too much sort of normal stone visible at all, and I don't want that on top of the basalt blocks really, so that should be... there we go, let's get those as black stone as well. Okay, cool. So if I go stand back a little bit, hopefully that's going to give an idea of what it is I want to achieve over on this side. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit of an idea. So if you imagine the whole sort of rock around the front here is going to be made of these basalt bits, there's going to be a few more out in the ocean here as well. And then you're probably not going to see much, if any, of that stone. It'll be more of the black stone. And then, yeah, the portal's going to be up on the top here, and I think it should come together quite nicely. But I guess we don't know until we try. A short while later, and I've added lots more basalt. I actually decided to keep some of the normal stone in there. I'm going to mix in, of course, a bit of mossy stuff, and it enables me to sort of mix this up a little bit more, because otherwise it's going to be a little bit too sort of grey and dismal and wouldn't tie into the world at all. So I wanted to have it as a bit more sort of, you know, more like corruption as opposed to just a complete island of basalt. But I really like how that's looking, especially with the portal up there. Once we get the rest of that island done, I think that's going to look really good. But at the moment, it's looking quite plain, as you can see. You can see the sort of shape that I'm going for. I will shape off the end of this island as well, because it's very square at the moment. And I just, yeah, the basalt just changes everything. It looks really cool. So I'm going to just crack on. I'm going to get the rest of this island done over here, and I'm going to make a start on getting the basalt around this area down here as well, just so we can see how this is all tying together. And then, I guess, at some point, we're going to be moving on to the bridge, because I'd like to get that in before the end of the episode as well. Look at that. That has come together really, really well. I'm very pleased with what's happened over there. And, yeah, I think the little bits of crimson and warped nylium and all the little funguses and things, I can't remember what they're actually called now, but I think they look really good as well, and they are helping to pull the island together. And I've also sort of taken over that one a little bit with some basalt and black stone, and I've also done some of this side too. So if we switch over to here, and look back, look at that. So, oh, no, I'm in a hole. There we go. So, what I've done there is I've got much less basalt on that side, because it's a bit further away from the portal, but we've still got a few little bits there, and I do need to mix in some andesite still, and a few other bits and bobs, but, well, get some foliage on there as well. But I do really like how this whole sort of thing is coming together on both this side and the other, and if I press that so I can see that I've got my rockets, there we go. So as we go up here and fly back, that really does make a statement, I think. I do need to obviously put some more of the stuff around the back. I've only done the front so far with the nylium and whatnot, because I wanted to check how it looked. And down this side here, I'm going to be gradually filtering it back into sort of normal land. So there's going to be a bit of a mix of sort of basalt, grass, black stone, normal stone, coming down here until it pretty much just turns back into grass by the bottom. So yeah, lots to do around here still. But for now, what I want to do is actually focus on the sort of main path that's going to lead up to the bridge here. So obviously we're doing this because we want to connect the town to the portal. So I need to go back to here to this path. I need to snake that path up and round. I'm literally just going to snake it up here for now. And I'm going to be doing it fairly simple, just with a few bits of cobble and occasional bits of stone and andesite as well once I go grab some. And we're just going to do that all the way down to the bottom there. So with this, I generally don't think about it too much. I just kind of run, I'll hold down the right click, and I'm just putting in sort of roughly where I know I want or think I want the path to go, somewhere like this, and then we'll have it go down here and something like that. There we go. So that just gives me a rough path to follow. I will probably adjust that as I go. I'll end up adjusting some contours as I go as well, and that's going to bring us up to the point where we're going to put the bridge. The problem I've got at the moment is I'm not sold on an idea for the bridge yet. I'm not sure if I want to do it stone or wooden bridge or a rope bridge or make use of some of the basalt and stuff. I really don't know at the moment. So I know I said I wanted to get that done before the end of the episode, but until I make a decision on what I want to do, I'm going to put that on a back burner and just focus on some other bits and maybe even get a custom tree or two up as well. So let's get going on that. So the way that I tend to do these paths is I will try and grab 1 or 2 blocks and I'll sort of run down, or I'll pick a section. I'll do that section before I move on. and try and sort of group certain things together. So for example, the podzol I find looks a bit like wet ground, so mixing that next to the coarse dirt and then into normal ground I find just works really well, creates a nice transition. And besides that, as I say, you know, where you've got like little corners and little nooks and things like that, I mean, I'm probably going to end up putting a bucket of water into that block to waterlog it, because that'll create a nice little puddle, and that explains why the ground around here is a bit damper. And it's all those little details like that that I find really pull a path together. And besides that, it's just, you know, clumps of stone here and there, keeping things sort of roughly how you want them, so let's not put too many of the same type next to each other. And don't forget to mix in the andesite slabs as well. Often overlooked, but they are slightly different to the stone, and they do create that nice little texture difference between the two. So with this, because we're getting closer to the bridge here, I do want to have this, you know, a bit more solid ground here in certain places. So there's going to be more sort of stone, more solid blocks in this area than there are going to be further back in the forest. Well, I say forest, it's just a massive open plain at the moment, really, isn't it? Let's be honest. So I'm just going to carry on doing this. I'm going to run up and down with the different blocks, and I'm probably just going to be using slabs and maybe even some wooden slabs as well to raise and lower the path in certain places. And the block palette I'll be using is basically andesite, stone, mossy cobble and cobble slabs, as well as podzol and coarse dirt. Once I've done that, I will run back with some stripped spruce logs and some trapdoors, and just every now and then put in a couple of those. And then lastly, I'll run back through again and just dig up some of the slabs and put lights underneath them. So yeah, lots to do. I'm going to crack on with that, and I'll see you guys back here once we've got a bit more of a completed path going on. I think I'm there. I think I've done it. I think I've terraformed the entire path now. So if we take a run down here, you'll see I've added in all the different textures. Ignore the fact that there's torches floating there. That's just to light up the area close to the actual base. I haven't done any sort of proper lighting here yet. I've put on a few aesthetic lights, but I've not put anything under the actual path or anything yet. So we won't be coming down here at night anytime soon. And the way I've done the path, it just weaves up. We've got these sort of occasional points of interest with these rocks going on, and a couple of places where the path sort of splits into two sections, and we've got the big tree in the middle, which was a dark oak tree that I grew and then just customised basically. Added a few extra blocks and some extra leaves to make it a bit more, you know, well, to make it look better, to make it look good, to be honest. And then up here, this will lead to where the bridge is going to go. But I'm afraid that bridge is going to have to wait for next episode, or, well, another episode. Maybe between episodes, I don't know. Either way, it's not going to happen with this episode, otherwise this episode is not going to get out on time. And now I must say goodbye. It is the end of the episode. We have run out of time. So yes, we're going to come back and build this bridge another episode, maybe on the next one, maybe in between episodes, not entirely sure yet. Kind of need to work out a better plan for that, of how I want it to look. And I do also still need to do the back of that island behind me, and of course the rest of the terraforming up here. So that's the cliff edges on the far side. So essentially around here I have not done anything as yet. It's still looking square and blocky, so we need to sort those bits out, and I need to plan out what I'm going to do up here. I've got a bit of an idea of what I might put on this spot, and I've got a bit of an idea of what I might put on that spot a little bit further down. So I need to flesh those out again a little bit further before I actually discuss them on camera, because, you know, don't want to say I'm going to do something and then not do it. I do that enough already. And yes, back of this island, must fix. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please do leave a like. It does help the video out. And if you have any ideas for the name for this village, we're still seeking a name for this area. And if you have any ideas, please do let me know in the comments. And I will see you all next time on Truly Bedrock. Bye bye now.